So I've been driving the all-new Hyundai i20 around for a while. This is the Asta O diesel with a 6-speed manual transmission, and among all the variants, this and the 7 DCT are my favorites. How is this car to drive and how is it compared to the previous i20? Let me explain in this video. Before I tell you about how the car drives, here's a quick word about the design. This 4th generation i20 has a very European feel to it. The sharp angles make it look quite sporty. It's best viewed from the front 3/4. The rear looks rather busy with the Z-shaped LED tail lamps. It's longer and wider than the previous car, but of course staying just 5 mm short of 4 meters in length. Luggage space is 26 liters more than the previous car at 311 liters. Inside, the way the AC vents blend into the design across the dash, the LCD instrument panel and the 10.25-inch touchscreen look quite nice. The all-black interior on the top trims is welcome, while lower trims do get beige and black. All-round visibility is good, and as usual, it's loaded with features. I'm not driving the diesel version of the Hyundai i20, and this one comes with a 1.5 litre diesel engine that puts out 100 PS of power and 240 Nm of torque with a 6-speed manual transmission. What I really love about this car is the punch, the torque. It really feels sporty. So this car is going to be quite popular across India, except for probably the Delhi NCR region, because of the 10-year registration rule for diesel cars in Delhi. But otherwise, I think this is the variant of choice with the kind of torque that it has. And the second variant of choice obviously would be the 7 DCT with the 1 litre turbo engine as well. And I'll just get you that impression too. What I really like about this new 4th generation i20, as they're calling it, is that it's very refined. Even though it's a diesel, you hardly hear any of the engine noise inside the cabin. They've really worked on the suspension, so ride quality has improved considerably, and so has the handling. Also like the way it picks up. Downshift, step on the throttle and bam. So if you're looking for a mix of sportiness, comfort, features, I think this car's got everything to satisfy you. So what could be improved in this? Well, you know, now that ventilated seats are an option, I would have wanted ventilated seats in this car, but that's just nitpicking. Otherwise, it's got pretty much everything you can ask for. And one thing that's really improved is the steering feel. Earlier, you know, it used to feel very video game like to drive an i20, but now it's actually quite sporty. So the diesel version is the most fuel efficient version as well among all the i20s. This one puts out 25.2 kilometers per litre, which is the claimed mileage, but with the kind of driving in city traffic and what we've been doing testing this car, I'm getting 18.2 kilometers per litre, which is pretty good. While this LCD instrument panel is brilliant to look at and the MID shows you a lot of information, you know, I have a little of that old school where I actually like needles showing you where exactly things are, because it takes a bit of getting used to look at where exactly your speed is or your RPM is. Although you also have the digital readouts of that, so you have a digital speedometer and a digital tachometer in addition to the analog, so-called analog tachometer and speedometer in this car. Now this Hyundai i20 may seem a little expensive when you consider the price range. Like this is the Asta O variant, which is over 10.5 lakhs ex-showroom for this top-end diesel, compared to the others it competes with, like the Baleno, the Polo, the Jazz. But then you must also look at the kind of features and the space that this car offers. It has got the maximum amount of space inside, including luggage space. So you are getting a fairly bigger car for the money. And then of course there's the features. sunroof, powered mirrors, climate control, this Blue Link system with some 50 functions. You can even remotely start the car, find out where it is. You have an app on your phone. All that kind of adds to the overall value that this car offers. I'm not saying it's cheap. Yes, there's a price tag to it, but it is a complete package. The other thing, why would you choose this car compared to the Hyundai Venue? Now that's an interesting choice. Now if you're somebody who likes sporty driving, likes the feel of a hatchback and that complete low slung fast car feel, then the Hyundai i20 is for you. The Venue is kind of a crossover that is an entry level SUV, so you'll move from the Venue to a Creta and upward, whereas with this you probably move from the i20 to the Verna to the Elantra and upward. So one thing that has really improved in the new i20 is the amount of rear seat legroom. I mean, this car has about 8 centimeters more of legroom at the rear, and it is wider, as well as the wheelbase is longer, which means there's far more room over here. You get a drop down armrest in here, and this is a single seat back, it folds flat, it's not a split fold. Rear seat headroom for someone of my height, which is 5 foot 8 inches, is adequate. There's plenty of daylight opening, as they call it. It's a fairly airy cabin. The sunroof obviously adds to that feeling. Rear AC vents, a USB charging socket at the rear, place to keep your cell phone, bottle holders in the door. So in fact, if I'm sitting here, I actually feel I'm sitting in a sedan and not in a hatchback. That way, this car is very spacious. I would probably say it's the most spacious in this segment. So I'm now driving the 1 litre turbo petrol with the 7-speed DCT. This car puts out 170 Newton meters of torque and 120 PS of power, and believe me when I tell you, it is a hot hatch. It's got a 7-speed DCT, which you can also use in manual mode when you want. Shift to sports mode, downshift, and it's instant. Remember the Polo GT TSI? Well, the i20 1 litre turbo petrol probably pips that in the way it picks up. But of course, you'll have to take both the cars head to head to figure out which one's better. But safe to say, I'm having fun in this car. So NVH levels are good inside the car, but when you do accelerate hard, it does tend to get a little loud in here. But then the pickup is instant. Like I said, Hyundai has really improved the handling, and this car, the steering no longer feels video gameish. It actually has good feel, and you get some pretty precise control. It does feel incredibly light, but even then, it is precise. So yes, if you're looking for sporty handling, this car has got it. Doesn't feel like the old i20 at all. This one feels much better. So this car can do 0 to 100 in 9.9 seconds, and well, keep your foot pinned and it's already at 3-digit speed. The 7-speed DCT 1 litre turbo petrol Asta option, which is this car, is of course the most expensive in the lineup at 11.17 ex-showroom. On road it's going to cost you close to 13 lakhs. Now you've got to decide, do you really want to pay that kind of money for a premium hatchback? But then look at it this way. If you're looking for performance and a car that can be taken to the track on weekends or can do quick highway runs besides doing the everyday city commute, this one ticks all the boxes. Sure, there are other cars you can get at this price range for much less. You can even get compact SUVs at this price range. So this car is actually for those who really want a car for sporty driving. They want a hatchback, and it's not a car for everyone.